Good morning, everyone. I hope that you are all doing well and are getting through these energies, right? Yesterday was the super full moon, and I believe it's the last full moon of the year. But this one was intense, wasn't it? I believe for many it was, including myself, and I just felt like I was feeling the collective's energy to the point where I felt like I was losing my damn mind. But I woke up with so much more clarity and feel so much more grounded and so clear today. So, and this happens a lot after a Tower moment, which is what I felt like I had yesterday, a Tower moment, a dark night of the soul. Whew, it was hard. It was intense as hell. So I woke up this morning and was guided to pull messages to kind of explain a little bit more about what happened and why it happened. And not only for myself, but I kind of on a spiritual level know and understand why it was all happening, because I really do feel like this is a time, and we've talked about this in other videos, that we need to make some serious drastic changes within ourselves. Like we really need to let go of our past selves, right? The old version of who we were. This transition into this newer version is so necessary right now. So what I'm finding is, and I feel like this is what I felt in the collective, because the super full moon represents, and even super full moons represents completions, right? Endings, clearing, all going hand in hand with the Mercury retrograde that we've gone through. The solar eclipse, the new moon, like we've been just hit with one energy after the other energy after the energy, and it's been so intense, because I really honestly believe that we are at a time now where we really have to make those changes, right? It's like it's time, and if we continue to resist those changes, it's going to be so hard to move forward. You know, it's like these energies are kicking our butts. Like they're kicking our butts, aren't they? And like I said, because I'm so sensitive and I'm an empath, I'm feeling this energy even more intensely. So I'm feeling a lot of what the collective is feeling. And it's crazy, right? But again, we can't rush. We can't push. You know, all we can do is guide, send lots of love and light to the situations, and hope and pray that each of you heal whatever it is that you need to heal within yourself, so that you can move forward and step into this new version of yourself. And really, in actuality, it is the true version of you. It already is you. It's just stepping back into that energy. So I'm calling today Foresight Friday. So foresight is the ability to see, right? To see ahead what happens in the future, right? So I feel like a lot of these oracle messages are guidance, of course, in helping us understand things that we are going through, but also to guide us into what we can do for ourselves moving forward, right? So it's important for us to get a grasp on what's truly going on. And again, at the end of the day, this is about you and whether or not you choose to make those changes. But I just feel like there's been a lot of darkness that's been trying to creep up to the surface. And when I say darkness, you know, you can look at it a couple different ways. You know, when I don't mean like evil. Well, I guess it can be evil coming in and taken us over, although that does happen in some cases. You always hear about people doing spell work and things like that. And I'm a believer of that. Well, I believe that people do that. But I also, and I feel like it does affect people as well. But I also am a believer that it only can affect you if you allow it to affect you, right? So if anytime we're in a higher vibration, a higher frequency where we're feeling really good about ourselves, we're in touch with what it is that we need to do, and we're taking the steps to make those changes, the darkness really can't affect us in that way, right? But I also feel like the darkness represents the shadow aspect of ourselves. And I feel like this is what is going on with most of us, is that shadow part of us. And the shadow part of us is that part of us that we don't like, the part of us that we fear. It's our anxieties, it's our fears, it's how we feel about ourselves, what we think about ourselves. And all of that comes from conditioning and programming and experiences and things that we've gone through. But on a conscious level, we're not understanding that. So when we are presented with these fears and anxieties and things that are coming up to the surface, especially as of late, it is really that part of us, the shadow part of us, the darkness within ourselves that's trying to be purged, cleared, released, and in some sense acknowledged, right? Because most of the shadow parts of ourselves we suppress. Most people suppress because we don't want to deal with that part of ourselves. I feel like the energies, and yesterday was really a representation of that for me on all levels because it was so intense for me. I feel a lot was collective, but I also feel a lot was, less little things that are still trying to be tweaked within myself that need to come up. But that shadow part of us is necessary to come up, to be acknowledged, because that's the part of us that is where we're learning most of our lessons from, right? It's created, of course, mentally. We create all of those fears and anxieties within ourselves, the shadow part of ourselves, like the way we talk to ourselves, the things we say to ourselves, how we feel about ourselves really is about how we feel about ourselves, what we think about ourselves. Although what we take from that is how in experiences we were told that we weren't good enough. We were made to feel like we were not good enough. So we take on those aspects, right, of that energy, and we start to make that part of who we are, right? That's the shadow part of us. It's the part of us of what we took from our experiences. See, the lights keep flickering. Energy's intense. I know Spirit is here because I feel Spirit working through me right now. And thank you. Thank you, Spirit, for being here. Thank you for being there for me yesterday, too. Oh my gosh, my divine team was just protecting me and helped me get through it. It was hard. But I really do feel like our shadow selves are really coming up to the surface on a very intense level, because it really is time for us to let go of that part of us, to know that we're more than that. We are so divine and so beautiful, and we're love. We're love. We are true, authentic love. It's just that we need to heal the shadow part of ourselves and release that darkness that we created within ourselves from those experiences. Those experiences weren't supposed to define us, my loves. It was to teach us lessons about ourselves. And I know this is a really tough time. And I really do feel like this super full moon that we just had, which is the last one, as I mentioned, of the year, is really trying to push that stuff up to the surface. The universe really wants us to take a good hard look at all of that stuff, right? But again, we have to heal it at our own pace. But we have to also at least attempt to make some changes. I can sit here and tell you that till I turn blue. At the end of the day, you're the one who has to do it, right? How much do you love yourself? Right? How much are you willing to make those changes to get rid of that old stuff so that you can step into the better version of yourself? You have to be willing to do this. You have to be the one to be willing to do this. Only you can make those changes. No one else can do that for you, right? People are placed in our life, in our experiences, in our environment, in situations, in our lives, are placed there for us to learn whatever we're supposed to learn from it, from those experiences. Um, we're dealing with so many darker energies and karmic relationships, and even a karmic relationship with yourself, right? It doesn't always have to be someone on the exterior, on the outside of us, right? It's yourself too. Like, we have karmic relationships with ourselves, and that's part of the dark shadow parts of ourselves, right? That's those parts of us that we suppress and repress so that we don't have to deal or look at them. That is a karmic relationship with ourselves, and that karma will continue to repeat itself and show itself within your life and your life experiences until we can just finally say, okay, I'm ready for you. Come on, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this. I am so ready to let go. It's scary. I know it's scary as hell. And in some aspects, a lot of us don't even know what to do. But I really feel like the most important thing to know and recognize during this time is not so much how to do it. It's more about how we feel about ourselves. Do we love ourselves enough to allow it to come up? It's really about being 100% truthful with you, first of all, for admitting to yourself that you have these things going on with you that you need to heal. Like, we can't always blame the outside external forces around us, although they can add to it. But I feel like when it's added, when the external forces around us adds to it, it's more about where you are and what vibration you are at. So the external forces come in more and they become stronger because of that vibration. You're in that vibration, right? So it's really more about you admitting to yourself that you have an issue. That you have fears, that you have anxiety. You fear this or you fear that, and this brings up anxiety, and you fear it's really just being 100% truthful with yourself. We cannot always blame outside forces for the things that we need to heal within ourselves, right? The outside forces are coming into our lives again because of the frequency that you're on, where you're at, to trigger you, for one, to bring up all of that insecurity and stuff to the surface. Even the dark forces are coming at us to let us get to a place where not only do we see within ourselves that part that needs to be healed, but also to recognize what you deserve, right? And you will get those signs and you will feel those emotions and things coming up when something is not right, when you are not in alignment with whatever it is that is trying to be aligned within you, right? It's just recognizing and acknowledging and allowing it to guide you, not to pull you back, not to put you into fear mode or anxiety about it. It's more about, okay, yes, I get it. This is what's going on with me. This is what I need to heal. This is what I need to release. Again, it's not looking outside of ourselves to get that done for us, because the only way it can be healed is within yourself, regardless, right? So I can sit here and tell you all of this stuff, But at the end of the day, you have to be willing to make the changes that you need to make within yourself. And this time is bringing up a lot of the darkness within ourselves, a lot of the darkness outside of ourselves, right? People just in such a state of chaos and frenzy because we're fighting ourselves. It's easier to stay in familiarity, what we're used to, right? But it's not emotionally fulfilling you anymore. So really, the energy yesterday was very intense. And like I said, some people felt it, some people didn't. I know that I got hit very hard with collective energy yesterday because I really do feel like people are fighting against the changes that they need to do within themselves. It's just easier for them to stay in their addictions, to stay in their fears, to stay in their anxieties, to stay in situations that are toxic, karmic. And really those karmic situations are really there to help you heal more than to keep you stuck, unless you allow it to be stuck. So, my beautiful, I know it was pretty intense, right? It just came up really strong. And like I said, I woke up so much clearer today and so much more grounded. And, everything just seems so much more vivid, right? Perception is so much more clear. And it's about honoring and loving yourself more and allowing all of that stuff to come up, the darkness, and then using the light to heal it. Sending light and love to all those dark places. The light illuminates the darkness, right? I feel like that's why it's been so bright. I mean, in this area anyway, like the sky's been bright, the sun's been bright, everything has just been so much more clear, so much more vivid. I feel like it's almost like the light is being illuminated. It's illuminating the darkness, but also illuminating the beauty, right? It's showing you the beauty, but also showing you the darkness, right? And it all lies within us. The light and the dark is part of who we are. It's a matter of acknowledging the dark, healing it, not suppressing it so much, and then shining the light onto it with love and light and positivity. And I know that's not always easy to do, but that light is being shown, it's being illuminated because we need to shine. We need to let the light within us come through. We need to shine the light on those dark parts of ourselves that we need to heal and to let go of, as hard as it may be. And if we choose to stay in that dark place of addictions and fears and toxicity, it's just going to keep coming at us worse, harder, stronger. So again, it's about you making the decision and the choice to change it all, right? I'm just a facilitator with the foresight to help guide you through it as I'm guiding myself through it, right? So I'm going through it too. I'm human, right? I'm going through a lot of things and changes. I've gone through a lot in the past few years, in my awakened state of knowing and understanding is helping me to bring more clarity to myself and to who I truly am and what I truly desire and what will emotionally fulfill me. But again, I wouldn't have known any of that if I didn't go through all of those experiences that I've gone through. And I've gone through a lot in my lifetime here. Even the people that came in and out of my life, they taught me something about myself. Relationships that I loved, where I was in love, also taught me how to be true to myself. So I thank those people for allowing me to become me, who I truly am, without your presence in my life, without the experiences that I went through, I can never get to this place of clear perception and self-love and just be able to step into that version of myself that I so desire to be, that I already am. I just need to embrace it. It's been there always, the authentic self. Misery and suffering was just part of the experience, part of the soul's evolution of learning how to navigate through it and not let it hold me back. I've had my heart open wide and broken, but we need that heartbreak to expand even more, right? We need to know what heartbreak feels like in order to expand more and to allow our hearts to expand even more, right? With pain comes more love. If that's what you allow in, you have to be open. You have to allow to open up your heart to it. You can't fear it from the experiences just because you went through such bad things in your life. Doesn't mean that you need to shut your heart down, because you really need to open your heart. Open it. Because when our heart is shut, we really do stop our blessings and our truth from showing itself. We create illusions and wear masks to keep ourselves protected. But beautiful people, it's time to illuminate and shine the light outward, the light that you already had inward. Embrace the darkness as it comes up. Don't fear it. Don't resist it, because it will be more difficult. Shine light on it. Shine light to everyone who needs it. Never stay somewhere that you are unhappy and stuck, because we're never stuck. That's just something that we create within ourselves. That is just an energy that we create of being stuck. But we're never stuck. We can get up and go anytime we want, right? You have to be brave, courageous. Know you have that inner strength within you. Allow it to come through and help you to get you through it. This is a very intense time of transition. And in order for us to move forward into this higher consciousness and light, we really do need to embrace that darkness. We can't fear it anymore. And anything around us that doesn't feel well or doesn't feel good to us, we need to have the courage and strength to walk away from it, regardless of how it affects the situation or others. It's about you loving you. And you have to love yourself enough to do that for you. That's self-love. That's unconditional love. So my loves, I'm just going to end it right now, and then I'm going to read the very intense oracle messages that came through. And I'll do three different segments, because there was 3 different cards, and I feel like they're all very important for you to hear. And I feel like I was guided by spirit to read and share these messages with you. It all goes with what we are going through, and hopefully it will resonate with you and help you to get a better understanding of what's truly going on, and help to guide you through this next part of our lives, which should be the most amazing part of our lives. Yes, we'll always have challenges, but when we can really get rid of all of that darkness and embrace that darkness within us, heal it, thank it, because all of the darkness is helping us to grow as well, right? So embrace it, thank it for helping you to grow and to get to this place and this point in your life where you're ready to make those changes that are necessary to step into this better version of who you are, the future version, the version that you are, that has always been there. It's time to step into that better version, to be your best self now, more importantly than ever. All right? But even if we're struggling and we're not ready to make those changes and move forward, that's okay. Take little baby steps to get there, because I know it's overwhelming when it hits you all at once. Take steps. If you don't take any steps, then you're never going to move forward. You'll always be stuck in that energy. We're not supposed to be in that energy forever. It's just to get us to where we need to be. And then take that experience, learn those lessons, and now apply it to the creation of what we want our lives to truly be, right? So I will end right now, and I'm going to do the next segment for the next Oracle message and post it for you. Love you all. You're all beautiful. Remember that.